Date is currently 5 July, Tuesday, 21 minutes past 4. So let's start on DXY and see how it moved to our point of interest and everything. As you can see, our point of interest was the 4 hour fair value gap. Let me move down to the 4 hour time frame so you can clearly see what's going on. So right here you can see that price started moving up to the fair value gap and it's currently not inside the fair value gap, and like I said last time, it has to be inside the fair value gap to look for positions on the 50% of it. Let's move on to the next currency pair and see. And as long as DXY hasn't reached our point of interest, that means our setup is still valid and our next setups can also still be valid. So let's see. Let's move on to USD Chief. So this is the 4 hour time frame, and same thing here. I don't know if I should move this weekly low, but as you can see, it's been consolidating. It's been consolidating ever since Monday, the 7th of July, till today. It's been consolidating. As you can see, no clear direction like this, but we're still anticipating for it to sweep this liquidity up here, enter our fair value gap, then targeting this low. Maybe this low down here would be our take profit. So this setup is still valid as well. Let's move on to the next setup. I'll open on USD CAD on the 4 hour. Let me move these things. So here you can see that the order block was not respected, but it's still showing resistance to go down. But this setup as it is, I don't think it's still valid since of the movement. Let's check with the OTE. It might be, let me see, might be maybe trying to respect this on a block up here, but you can see that this wick did not validate that. So this setup is out of the picture, but as long as you use the DXY, basically as long as DXY is still a valid setup, there are still setups that have not played out. So let's move on to the next ones that we analyzed the previous week and see. The next setup is Euro USD, open on the 4 hour, and the 4 hour breakup block has not been reached, and price has been very, very slow in terms of moving in any direction. As you can see, it's very slow. So still a valid setup. Liquidity has not been swept. 4 hour breakup block plus fair value gap, but this one looks like it's not going to play out because the point of interest is way too far. Let me see if I can find a different point of interest. Okay, let me reanalyze this one from the beginning. Let's start on the weekly. previous weekly candlestick was bearish. Let me see if I can find a yeah, let's do it like this. Monthly low and this month's high. Let's move on. Let's keep the weekly, go to the daily. So I'm gonna start from this swing low here instead of way down here. See. This order block is not quite in the OTE, but it's the closest to DXY setup. So let's just use this one for our order block plus OTE. Then use where it's currently at as liquidity here. So you know where now, something like this, we're going to be targeting this monthly high. Let's move on to the next setup. Last setup is AUD/USD. Open on the 4 hour. I have to move to the daily because that's where my point of interest is at. And just fine tune this. Move this side. Let me adjust the weekly. Let me also reanalyze this one to see if I can find a closer entry. Let's start from the weekly. Let's start from the weekly high. No, weekly high, weekly low, daily, Fibonacci, 4 hour. We'll go down to the 1 hour and see if I can find something much more clear. This one's tricky. Let me just mark it like this so that I know it's the OTE, because it's just a lot of wicks here. I can't find a clear point of interest. So in this situation, I'll just let it play out and see what happens. Then let's say it does something like this. Let's say it does move into the OTE. Then when it moves above and I'm not in, I'll wait for it to do something like this. Something like this. Basically, this is a risk entry when you enter right down here on the OTE. is the reduced rate entry when you enter right after the indication that it's respecting the OTE. So when it goes up, it also has to retrace. Price doesn't just move into one direction, it has to retrace and consolidate and do all that. So that's what I'm anticipating right here. I think that's all of them. But let me add what you call it, Bitcoin to the picture just so that we see how it will move for the week. I have Bitcoin open here and I was already analyzed, as you can see. Let me just adjust a couple of levels like the monthly high, monthly low, monthly low. Let's move down to the daily. So Bitcoin has to be moving in the opposite direction of the dollar index. So if DXY is buying, Bitcoin has to be selling. What's going on? Okay. So taking it from the low to the high. This swing low. Okay, let's go to the 4 hour and see. So this point of interest is going to be removed and I'm going to use this fair value gap here. This 4 hour fair value gap plus OTE. And this one will be removed because monthly low and high was readjusted or reevaluated. I don't know what to say, but as you can see, it's currently moving down. So anticipating soup liquidity, enter fair value gap, target monthly high. Bitcoin is very risky to trade. Just if it were to stop me out, like let's say it doesn't respect and I am in a setup like this, maybe something like this from 50%, and stop loss would be somewhere down here and take profit all the way up here. If it stops me out, this little stop loss right here is enough to blow an account. Well, depending on the size, but you get what I mean. But when it does respect, it pays good. That's the great thing about Bitcoin. So I think that's all the setups for now. I'll check in again next week.